Hi guys, today I wanted to announce a new video series on this channel. So I've just started working on a project and I'd like to share my whole process of it from beginning to end on this channel. And the thing about me is that last time when I tried to do a project, I actually stopped in the middle because I lacked the motivation to continue with it. And eventually I just stopped. I quit. So hopefully this time around I actually make it to the end and publish it. So what I'm talking about is I'd like to start writing my own novel. And yeah, last time I tried to write something and I was literally I think I was in the middle of it. But as I said, I stopped. The thing about writing any novel, it takes a lot of dedication, a lot of time, a lot of effort and a lot of motivation to really pull through till the end. I hope you guys can hold me accountable to making sure that I make it to the end. I'm very passionate about this concept. I'm definitely a lot more passionate about this concept compared to my previous project, which was a fantasy style novel. This time round I would like to write a spy thriller, and this one is retelling the story of Cinderella as well. So you're probably like, oh wait, hold on, those are two completely different concepts. I know, but there's going to be a clash. But before I talk a little bit more without giving spoilers, the reason why I'd like to post this novel writing series or novel planning and novel writing series on this channel, it's just like little snippets. Don't expect anything like huge or like comprehensive or anything, but it's just like to show you my whole process. I thought that'd be something quite interesting and something new and refreshing on the channel. The reason why I'm not making a separate channel is because, as I said, I'm not sure if I'll pull through till the end, so it's not really worth me making a separate channel on this. And also because my upload schedule on this channel is very sporadic. I'm not someone who uploads much, so I just want to give a bit more content, and probably something very unexpected for you guys. But so don't mind the randomness of some of these novel writing vlogs. I know I'm a reactor, but I want to throw in something different and to show you guys a different side to me, because I am a creative writing enthusiast. And also just a little bit of background about me, because I don't really talk about myself. I really don't. Like, if you've been on my channel, if you've been subscribed to me, you'll know that I barely talk about myself. I won't go into too much detail, but I did take English language and literature as an A level, and oh my god, it was so difficult. We had to read like big text that I didn't even like at all, to be honest. But anyway, that's a separate topic. But I am passionate about like literary analysis, and I love the idea of making my own story. So yeah, and at the moment my second job is teaching English to primary school children. So it's not like as if I'm not familiar with this, because I'm teaching creative writing as I'm teaching English to my little kids. And I was thinking to myself, oh, why don't I make a story? It really came from inspiration of the Cinderella fairy tale, so a bit about that. So I've always loved the Cinderella fairy tale personally. I'm not someone who's usually into the romance genre, just to clarify, but then again I do have a bit of a guilty pleasure for some rom-coms. But as a general rule, like, I never thought that I'd consider, if I was to write a book, that it's going to be something a little bit on romance, but it's also a spy thriller. So yeah, contrasting ideas, I know. I can't say too much because obviously I don't want to spoil you guys, but it's going on this idea of doing a Cinderella retelling but with a twist to it. So I am going to be featuring Muslim characters, mainly Muslim characters in my novel, because I want to take part in diversifying my cast and just adding that representation, which I feel is lacking in contemporary fiction. So my main character is going to be the Cinderella, but she's not going to be called Cinderella, and I'm also thinking about doing a dual point of view, which means that there will be 2 point of views that you'll be reading. At least that's the idea at the moment. I might change this if I find that it's too difficult, but at the moment I feel like this is the best way to tell the story. So dual point of view, it just basically means that you'll be reading 2 different point of views from the Cinderella character and also from the Prince Charming character. But just wanted to clarify that I'm mainly going to be focusing on the spy thriller aspect rather than the romance, because I'm quite conservative and I'm quite shy when it comes to like the whole business of romance. It's going to be subtle and a slow burn, but yeah, just throwing it out there. Right, yeah, I don't want to spoil too much, and the whole purpose of this novel writing series is to show you my process from beginning to end. So like the planning process, which is what I'm doing at the moment. So I've literally just started this last week, or within the last 2 weeks of like thinking about the story and how it's going to unfold, and I'm still trying to figure it out. So without any further ado, let's get on to the actual worksheets that I've printed out. Actually, before I show you the actual worksheets that I printed out, just wanted to show you the whiteboard that I've been using. Now, this whiteboard, I've been like watching so many videos about how other writers have been outlining their novels. So yes, I am someone who's a complete outliner. Like, I need to have a plan beforehand about how my story is going to begin and also end. So I need a comprehensive outline before I actually start writing the first draft. So I'm a complete plotter. Some people would like to wing it. Personally, I can't wing it. I really need to have that structure in place. Otherwise, I'm just not going to be productive when I do start writing the first draft. It's just going to be a complete mess. So I want that structure, and I've just been researching about how story structure is, and I've been brainstorming ideas on the whiteboard. So you're probably thinking, why are you using a whiteboard? It's because firstly, you can erase ideas. I also like the fact that this is just over A4 size, so there's a lot of space to brainstorm ideas. So what I tell my students, the little ones, is to brainstorm ideas for their own stories. So they do like a spider diagram. And I was thinking, oh, why do I do that? Because I was just getting stuck. I was getting so stuck about where the story was going. So I was like, okay, I need to brainstorm as well as outline so that I can really see what would be best for the story. Yeah, I've got mostly Act 1 figured out. Act 2, I definitely know what's going to happen at the midpoint. But then Act 3, I barely know anything what's going to happen in Act 3, and I still need to figure out Act 2 as well. I might need to change a few things about Act 1, and that's the thing. So some of the ideas are just going to change over time, most likely. Nothing is set in stone, but it's always good, at least in my opinion. I know a lot of people disagree. They don't like the idea of planning beforehand, but I'm a planner. I need structure. If I don't even know who my characters are, then it's just going to be a mess when I write. So yeah, so I definitely need to know at least my main characters and also the plot points, at least the major plot points. So without any further ado, so I'm just going to show some of the brainstorming that I've done. Wait, here. Here. And obviously, like, I'm going to blur it out or put like black boxes in so you guys don't see what the actual ideas are. But if you notice, a lot of them are spider diagrams, and also like doing like these bar charts, to like, because it is a spy thriller and there is a certain aspect to it that rings true to any detective style novel where there are going to be suspects, multiple suspects. So that's also something to bear in mind. I keep pointing to the wrong areas this way. On BookTube, I haven't really seen anyone recommend the whiteboard for outlining or brainstorming, so I'm just going to throw it out there. The reason why I recommend at least brainstorm, maybe not outlining, that's up to you, but for brainstorming purposes, I would highly recommend using a whiteboard. You can buy them very cheap in stores. The reason is because you can literally wipe the whatever you wrote. It actually erases this idea of perfectionism. Personally, for me, if I'm going to write something on paper, I'd want it to be perfect. So unfortunately for me, I have a bit of a perfectionist type of mindset. So if I write something on paper, you see how with the worksheets that I showed you, I don't know if you guys noticed, but I actually used a pencil instead of using pen, because with a pencil you can just rub it out. Kind of similar idea with this. You can just rub it out if you don't like the idea. So yeah, just throwing it out there. Obviously it's not going to work for everyone, and obviously like everyone has paper, but not everyone has a whiteboard, but I'm just going to throw it out there anyway. And I just feel like if I have a whiteboard, and the reason why I have a whiteboard is because I use it for my students. I do tutoring as my second job, so that's why I have it. So now I'm going to show you what I printed out. Now there is an amazing site called the Novel Factory. And the Novel Factory, they have like so many different resources for novel outlining and also character profiles, I believe, like just to really flesh out on what you want. So I printed out the skeleton. I'm going to put it way back so you guys don't see what I wrote. But the skeleton is basically something that they formulated based on the hero's journey style of outlining. So the hero's journey, which was created and designed by Joseph Campbell, I believe his name is. So it's just a style of how a story needs to be structured, where, for example, at the beginning the main character is in a world that they are familiar with, but they're not happy about something. Like they want something and need something. Like for example, Harry in Harry Potter is an orphan, and then he's mistreated by his uncle and auntie at the very beginning, but then he gets invited to attend Hogwarts School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, and so he is thrown into an unfamiliar situation. So that's the idea. My character is going to be thrown into an unfamiliar situation that they're not confident in at the beginning, but they throw themselves in it and tries to solve the situation without any spoilers though. But it's just to give you an idea about like what story structure is usually for most stories. So this one, I am almost complete with it, but I wrote it a few days ago in the library, so I'll just post some library footage here if I haven't already. So yeah, I went to the library just because to really make me focus, because I can't do so much work at home. Even though my house is like dead quiet, it's just me and my mum that live at home, but like I just can't seem to get myself to work when I'm at home. So sometimes I feel like I really need to utilize the library, to my local library, to brainstorm, outline and write the drafts. Maybe write the drafts. I've actually printed so many different like novel outlining sheets, including ones that give like an actual guide, because this is going to be my debut novel and I really need to know my shit basically. So I also printed out Abby Emmons novel outlining worksheet, and her one is a lot more thorough. As I said, I'm a comprehensive outliner. I know a lot of people don't like that, but that's just me. That's just how it works for me, at least of now. So I really need to know, for example, my characters. So you see here, I won't put it up close, but meet your protagonist. So I really need to understand what my characters Desire, Fear and Misbelief is, I highly recommend subscribing. If you're interested in like creative writing and writing stories, I highly recommend subscribing to Abby Emmons' newsletter to at least to get the actual worksheets, because she has like so many resources for novelists, for authors, that I think are very useful. And in general, I recommend her channel and a lot of like other booktuber channels as well. So there's Act 1. I've not completed it, so I can put it up close. Act 1. So every story has a 3-act structure to it, and that's the idea. And then there's Act 2. So midpoint is like really important to know, because that's where like a lot of plot twists happens, or like some real shit goes down. Then it propels you to Act 3. So that's where like the climax and the resolution happens. And it just continues on. I also printed out character profile worksheets so that I can really understand my characters. I am definitely taking this seriously, because if I'm gonna be invested in this, I want to make sure I get really good reviews. Also, like character base. Yeah, I know I went overboard. I know I went completely overboard, and that I could just digitalize everything. Talk about digital. So I actually am going to change a little bit of my outlining process. So these are the worksheets that I'll definitely be using, but I'm also going to be making a plot grid, something that J.K. Rowling actually made to outline her Harry Potter series. So I'll just post a picture here. If you don't know what J.K. Rowling's plot grid looks like, I want to do something similar to that. Initially, I wanted to actually write on these. So these are a bunch of index cards that I actually bought a very long time ago. Sorry. So this one's a green one. I just cut out some purple as well. God, everything doesn't look like its color. So this is yellow. Yeah. Okay, so initially I was planning to actually use these index cards, but then I thought, oh, no way am I going to be bothered to like lay everything out and do it kinesthetically. So I was like, okay, let me just make an Excel spreadsheet to do a plot grid. I'm not going to do it on paper just because I need like a big sheet, and it's just going to be too much to do a lot of like physical writing, so I'd prefer to just type it out. But that's going to be for the next part. For this part, I just wanted to go over the kind of resources that I've already printed out. The next part is going to be focusing on the actual plot grid and maybe something else. I think the last thing, I just wanted to talk about the actual research that I'm doing, because I literally know nothing or barely anything of the espionage genre, the spy genre. So I really need to do my research. I am definitely looking up like actual like real accounts of espionage online. But at the moment I'm reading Danielle Steele's Spy, which is really good. I highly recommend this. I absolutely love the main female protagonist. She is so strong and independent, and it's quite fascinating, even though this is fictional, so it's not like it's really holding true completely to the espionage genre, but I feel like it's pretty faithful to what I think spies usually do. Oh my goodness, I've heard so many great reviews about The Night Agent, which was written by Matthew Quirk. I have yet to read this, but yeah, apparently this is actually going to be made into a movie. I'm really looking forward to reading this one. And I also bought this, Gem, Spies Like Me. So this is kind of like giving me Charlie's Angels vibes. Just like, and I actually wanted to buy Alex Rider's Stormbreaker, or at least read into that whole series, because that's a very famous spy series. There's also a TV show that I need to look into to get ideas, but this is just what I'm starting with at the moment, and then I'll see what I do for more research. So there's a lot to think about, and it's just to give you guys an insight into what I've been doing. Yeah, I'm actually very excited like where this goes, and I really hope I make it to the end as well. And regarding like you guys getting like sample chapters, you guys would definitely get like at least the first couple of chapters, first few chapters for the first draft. I might publish the first draft on Wattpad to get your opinion first on what you think of the first draft before I make changes, because I need feedback if I'm to improve it. And getting feedback, like Wattpad is known to give feedback, and there's a whole writing community on Wattpad, so I might do that. I'm not entirely sure yet, but I might consider doing something like that once I'm done with like the whole first draft. But anyway, hope this was interesting for you. And again, don't expect like this to be like a frequent series. It's just like when I can think of an idea to put as a novel writing vlog. So expect a sporadic schedule, but nonetheless, yeah, it's going to be a series. I really want to do that. I'll just leave it here. Stay tuned for more.